welcome to the next episode of a podcast that speaks about quiet heroes but is not quite about it at all. We really want to spread this message about people who, are heroes in their own way, who contribute to, non-profit organizations or social work or give back in a way that's much more beyond money. And that's why our podcast is called Ashaएं Beyond Work. And we do hope to also give hope to a lot of such individuals who are aspiring to do something similar. In that quest today, it is our privilege to introduce our next guest, Hemant Aldangadi, who actually wanted to pursue a career that would make more of an impact, more of a connect, and he actually quit his corporate job at that point, and today is the trustee and CEO of Heed Foundation. Now, Heed Foundation is an organization or a non-profit organization that is into health, sports, and education, and it works at the grassroots level. And it's not an easy job, right? Working from the grassroots and trying to get a movement going. So I would now ask my colleague and my dear friend Santosh to take this forward with Hemant and tell our listeners more about this.
Thanks, Sujay, and hi, Hemant. Well, it's indeed an amazing, journey for you. My first question, actually, Hemant, for you would be the transition from a corporate life and a pretty busy corporate life because you were into banking, and then moving on into, starting an NGO, leading one, and driving it on the ground because you've worked actually on the ground with kids, and I'm sure we're going to talk a lot more about Heat Foundation. The question is, how easy or challenging was that decision? And secondly, the transition phase, if you could share, because we have a lot of our listeners, who are very keen to do such social work along with their or without, moving into full time into it. So maybe your experiences.
Okay, Sujata, thanks for the introduction. It's no hero or so, but I tried to do my best, whatever little I could do. The job earlier as a banker, it was pretty hectic. Wanted to pursue that career for a long time. Did it for about 30 odd years, and kind of ignored everything around me. So they talk about his work-life balance and all that, but it doesn't just happen when you are pursuing your career and want to go up the ladder all the time. And it came to a stage where I said, I have to give this up and do something else.
Hmm.
So took a break, took a call that financially I was okay with. I could carry on with a similar kind of a lifestyle if I move out of the corporate place. And I said, I'll take a break as such and got out of it. That's where I should give credit to my brother-in-law who was working with an NGO. He had done a similar kind of a thing and he said, why don't you try this out? Check it out how to. So sports was always been a calling for me, and I said, let's get into sports. And I thought it's easy, getting into sports and just max what you do is. I thought I had the connects working with a corporate bank, and people will donate because when I was in the bank, I had seen is for me also at that particular time it was social service was just cutting a check end of the day
Hmm.
and says okay x percentage goes to whichever NGO which comes because the banks that we all I worked in always had this kind of a concept where they used to keep asking us saying could you support a certain NGO which the bank also supports, and there it was like whatever you pay whatever they collect from the staff they double it up and they pay it to the NGO. So I had seen whole lot of it, and believe me it was always sitting there and cutting a check. That's all that social service meant at that particular time. So when I got into sports, started my own NGO, I thought I'll be able to do the same thing again and get the funds as easy as possible and start donating it down the line. That's where I realized, and I also feel like social service shouldn't be giving free to people, and you shouldn't
Hmm.
be giving free things to the poor person. Then they get so used to it that they just let go of the rest of it, and they always expect something in return. And in sports also, again, I had seen a huge divide, which sports has become a kind of an elite people's game. So if you have the money, your kids play. If you don't have the money, you don't play. That's exactly what happens. And if you look around, it's cricket. I myself am a very I've played cricket before. I played cricket at a good level, and it's football. So these two sports is the only one which is being pushed. If you look at NGOs also, they use football because it's easy. But then end of the day, it's more so is you don't see a future, at least in India, for football. Cricket is because it's popular. So that's where I got saying we need to do something for sports, something which is, make these kids. And the whole idea was keep these kids away from the streets. It was not looking out for a medal. It was not looking out saying, they'll be big sportsmen per se. We'll follow a process where we'll try and keep these kids out of the streets. And then if we follow a process, we put in, because I, as a young guy, missed out a whole lot. And that's exactly what I wanted to give it back. Like if sit back and think, if I had got a coaching per se, the right coach to play, or the I come from a very a typical mind people how do I put it, a family where the whole idea was you study, you get a job, and you work till you retire kind of a thing, and you don't even shift jobs. So that's how it was, and that's how we have all grown up. So when I joined, now I feel as if I had got some coaching, some mentor to play a game, I could have gone up, but I could have played a little bit. So that's what the idea when we started off with sports. We said is what is missing is it's not a game kind of a thing. We take it as a sport kind of, and that's where we need mentors to go. And these, particularly these kids who are there, it's more of giving them that confidence, giving them that challenge, because they come from they have that aggression. It's just that to channelize the whole thing. So that's where the whole funda. That's where the adjustment took time for me, because one, funds were scarce a little bit when we started off. The idea of teaching these kids and telling them it's why sports is important. Don't look at the medal side of it. And you're not going to play cricket. You're not going to play football. We are going to teach you something which is more different, and you learn a whole lot of stuff. And the common sport. So that's why we picked up sports which are also very common. And that's how the whole idea of getting into sports per se came in. So that's just to hope I covered most of it
of course.
as such. So
that's
where we said
you mentioned that your organization Heed works essentially with kids who are probably economically from economically weaker sections of the society. So it's not just the kids, right? Even the parents or their guardians who need to agree where they need to come on the sports ground, and then education itself, which is also challenged. How do you guys balance this and give time to make sure that both sports and their education is taken care of?
Okay, so you got it right. We didn't want them to only play a sport or only pursue sport. So we went ahead and started off with the municipal schools. So there's there are about 180 plus municipal schools in Mumbai. Okay, and it's about 3 lakh plus students study there. And these are all, the education is free out there. And these are kids from a marginal background out there. So that's where we approach them first. And the whole idea was we will be training these school kids only, and we'll be training in the school campus itself. We'll not take them out. And the whole idea was you go get into the classes first, and then only you come for practice. You can't come directly for my practice. And then we had 2 sessions, either in the morning before the school starts. So it's like you come for my practice. So if they come for practice, they have to come to school. There's no running away. And then they're taken into the classroom. And at the same time, if it is after school, you do your classes first. Otherwise, we are not even taking you in. So the checkpoint was you come wearing your uniform, and you change it when you get onto my ground. So that's where we would know is yes, they are in the school. And the sports teacher who is there assigned to us is also responsible. So we took care of both. So it's education also, that is the regular education in the classrooms, and then you come out on sports, and here also we teach you life skills per se. So that's how we balanced it. So that's how we went ahead with starting only in the schools and only in these municipal schools, public schools which are there. Now we are slowly getting transition, because we understood that we are why limit only to a particular school. why not come out of the municipal schools? Because there are other schools also which cater to the underprivileged. There are a lot of these aided schools also which are run in the communities in Mumbai. So what we said was, let's go again with the municipal schools, the municipality, the BMC, what they call MCGM, which they call. We went to them. We took permission to use their grounds, which are there, and we started training in the grounds. And we started getting kids from the community in and around. And that's what we are looking forward to is growing. That's a transition that has happening slowly. Going forward, if you ask me, I would want to build an academy which is there, a pure sports academy where people, kids and little elders also can come and play at a very, very reasonable rate. The underprivileged will be for free. And I think that's how you would be able, only be able to generate interest in these kids. Because if I look around, sports is getting very, very expensive. Coaching is becoming very, very expensive. So playing a sport, is getting very expensive in Mumbai, at least what I've seen, or in urban cities. It's slowly getting into a business kind of a model for everyone. So I do get a lot of flack from my coaches also. That's to, they don't like it because I give it for free. And I tell them I pay you, so you don't have to worry about your payment. But they say you pay me less, you don't give me an opportunity to earn money from whoever, because the numbers that we train, even if I look at it, it's 1,000 kids that I train every year. If I look at all four sports, so that's where the difference. It's big business. I tell you, if I go professionally tomorrow and I switch over, it's going to make me a lot of money, kind of a thing.
Wow.
No, that's very nice to hear, Hemant, that you still continue to pursue this path of non-profit,
Yes. Yes.
despite all the incentives and the magic of money, hovering around you all the time. So kudos to
Yes.
you on that. But tell me, this is your part. But what is the part that incentivizes these kids? Because the sports that you all play are like slightly different from the usual ones, right? Athletics, I
Yes.
understand, but things like taekwondo, boxing, and
Yeah.
these are sports actually that are earning your students some laurels as well. So tell
Yes.
us how the kids get motivated to get into such sports.
Okay. We actually went, there's a lot of thought process which went ahead choosing these four sports. We said is we started with Kabaddi. Kabaddi is a team sport. The best part is you play in the mud. You actually hold hands and play. This sport is where the entire team is, you hold hands and then you play and you strategize. So this is something which is missing, the physical touch, as they say, it's missing across all sports. Because everywhere other sport, you are as an individual standing. Here as a team sport, you join hands and play. Even if you look at a cricket or a basketball, everybody is running on your own. Here you have to coordinate with your team guy when you're going forward or coming, either you are attacking or so. That's why Kabaddi, it's a local sport, less of I would say is infrastructure required, and that's how we went ahead with Kabaddi. Boxing, purely aggression that we see. I have not seen kids who take a knock on their face or their head and they stand up again and they want to do more. They want to fight out, because I think that's the aggression that they come with. So we're just channelizing these aggressions in the right way. Uh, Taekwondo, we started off with purely because it's an we said it'll be self defense for the girls, and it's not so aggressive as karate, not so passive as judo. It's somewhere in the middle, and the injuries are lesser. That's what the study says. So that's how we picked up taekwondo. And athletics, yes, it's new for us also. It's only less number of kids, but athletics is something which we always feel that kids love to run around and play. So that's how it's done. When these kids got a chance to play, they want an avenue to play. It's just that that's not which is freely available. They play. It's, if I compare it with other sports like a cricket, the whole passion for cricket starts is when you're playing in a gully or when you're playing in your compound, and it's free. So that's where you look out for talent, and that's where you grow and get into coaching. When your parents also see you that there's some talent and something, they put you onto coaching. So that's where we said is, yes, you play kabaddi with us. We'll give you space to play. We'll actually train you to play. And what we do is we push them to play tournaments, which is not there, which was never there before.
Okay.
So it gives you two options. I push them to play tournaments. I ensure that tournaments also happen, because I myself kind of run a lot of tournaments at my end. So that gives, builds interest. It's build interest within each of the, uh, if I even play with my own uh, people, the kids that I train at different centers, it's kind of a big huge tournament for. So that started happening. So that started building more interest. We actually building heroes within the community, because they never had anyone to look up to. So what happens is, even if it's a very small tournament that they play, the moment they win something, we issue certificates, we make posters out of it and put it all across. Like in the school, we start off putting posters saying, this is the team which is going to represent the school. And they feel so proud about it when they look their name on the board saying, they are representing a particular school. They win or they lose, we make them a hero in that school, in their community. The parents feel very proud. It's so satisfying when a parent comes to us and says, is my girl is now so very confident coming out and talking to people, and people look up to them. So their families also are slowly getting used to it. When we take them out for tournament, they themselves come there to cheer the uh, kids out there.
Yeah.
Uh, just to take it a little off, we had a Taekwondo tournament where we had taken the parents also along with it. And Taekwondo is played by all the elite also. When it's an inter-schools tournament, it's a elite also, and it's our kids also. As we say, is, we give them a level playing field. So one of the parents from my team just started going screaming, saying, go hit hard, hit hard, hit hard. And there was a parent of an, elite girl, nice, petite looking girl. She started crying, saying, hey, don't do this kind of a thing. So, that's where the difference comes in. And that's where, you have to calm down the parents. Saying, he's saying, no, I want my girl to win. So that winning thing has slowly crept him into the parents.
Yeah.
So it's satisfying for us also.
Very, very, very interesting. And I'm sure, the very fact that you guys are also encouraging the girls in this sports activity is
Yes.
very, very encouraging to know.
Yeah.
One last question, Hemant, before we leave. You guys are adding on immensely to the India, the Khelo India initiative, I'm very sure.
Yes.
Any great incidents, victories, celebrations that you would like to share, heroes that have come from such events that you have organized?
Yes. See, boxing is something which we wanting to push, and when we first, I actually, to start with, just to go one step backward, I work with the foundations, I work with the associations of all these sports out there at an India level and at the state level. So Bombay at earlier stages always had someone representing Bombay across in the Olympic team and all that. When we saw the last two Olympics, there was, I think, only one or two players from Bombay in the boxing team. The contingent was about, I think, from the whole of India contingent, the biggest contingent was boxing out there, which went in the non-team sport, individual sports. So the biggest contingent was boxing. A lot of medals were expected from the boxing team, and from Mumbai, only one or two players were there. So the whole idea when we started was, just we need someone from Mumbai to represent. Now the goal has shifted. We are saying is, there is an Olympic coming up in 2036 in India, and that's the goal that I'm wanting to work is, I want my kids to be there. It's a long time. It's about more than a 10-year period that we're looking at. If I have to share a few names, yes, in boxing we have is Bhavesh Kattimani, we have Nikhil Dubey, we have Usman Ansari. All three are, two of them are street kids. They actually used to stay in the streets of Mumbai, and they started training boxing in the municipal schools. They studied in the municipal schools, and we picked up from there. Our boxing program got picked up. Gradually they went ahead. They won at national levels and Khelo. That's where then they picked up. Are also, we're just trying to funnel them, and I could proudly say is two of them are into army right now and practicing with the teams out there, with Sai out there. So these give you a lot of satisfaction. And when we put these all three guys posters up in the municipal schools, the principals out there also now have a story to say is, these are our kids. These are someone who have gone from our schools, from the streets and into national teams kind of. So that gives us. Kabaddi also, Khelo India started about 5 years back or so, and when the Mumbai camp this time happened, they pick up about 20 boys and 20 girls in the junior levels. under 14, under 16, and they have a camp, and out of these camps, then they select the top 10 which go ahead and represent Maharashtra. So out of that 2020, like, out of the 20, there were 4 girls from Heat India. There were 7 boys from Heat India who got selected out there, and it was satisfying. The selections are still on. I don't know how many will go up, but then, to be in the Bombay's top 40 players, it's actually, for us, it's a great achievement. That I would say, in a short period of time, we are just building a process in. If I can help somewhere up there, it's great.
Fantastic. We can actually connect to the pride and passion in your voice.
Yeah. So
And
no, that's what's satisfying. It's the end of the day.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm sure it's very satisfying. Though, before we end, I wanted you to also sort of share a message with our listeners, because that is the most important part of the show, as to what keeps you going. I understand, having achieved this and things like that, but that still is relating to the corporate mentality. What
Yeah.
does it feel like deep within, and what do you wake up for every morning? That is what keeps you going, or your ikigai, as we call it.
Okay. Sports has been my passion, and I keep learning. I had never, gone ahead and actually played these sports which are there. And each sports is, every day when I get up, there is something new which I read, something new which I see, and then I would want to go and implement it out there. And that's where it gets me. Like, technology is now playing such a huge part. I feel is that's what is missing in Mumbai, in these sports, in India. We're not using it. It's available freely, but then that's what I would want to go about and do it. I would want one of these kids to come out as a leader out there. So I would want, as I said, someone representing from Heat India in 2036 Olympics. That's, I would love to have one guy, even if it is only one guy. That's what is going to keep me awake, and that's what I'm going to push for.
And that is what you're working towards. That's your ikigai.
Yes,
That's what
that's my guy. So
get up
that's
every
what
day
gets
and
me every day.
get to
As
heat.
to, yes, how I get one person at least.
Fantastic, fantastic. And may you get, like, as many people as you can from Heat. That's our wish. And thank you so much for being on our show and, telling people. One is about Heat Foundation, the other is about how can they go about something like this as well. Whatever their passion is in, whichever field that they are passionate about, connect to it. And I'm sure anyone can find, things to do. Right,
I'm
Santosh?
sure.
What do you say?
Absolutely, absolutely. And the very fact that, a transition, and a very successful transition, and doing what you like, the passion that he's, been pursuing, is something that, and as he says, right, every day when you wake up, he looks forward to something new. I think that's, I'm sure a lot of our listeners should be, who are listening, encourages them to take that next big step, which probably they haven't been thinking about, right? Thinking about, but not acting on, possibly.
Right. And also look for connects, like Hemant said, his brother-in-law helped him. I'm sure that each one of us in our own community, fraternity, family has somebody working in our, what we are passionate about, that field, right?
Yeah.
Possibly reach out to that one person, and maybe, you never know, a huge way may open up for you, like it opened up for Hemant.
No, I agree. That's how it works. You have to keep connecting. You never know where it takes you.
Exactly, exactly. Thank you so much once again, Hemant,
Thanks,
for your
Sujata.
time. It was a pleasure.
Same here. Thanks, Santosh. Thanks for giving
Bye-bye.
me this
Yeah.
opportunity.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Take care. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.